don't want to be seen.
Only the speaker will be recorded, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we can go.
We can go.
Good evening, everybody. Today is day 3 of our expedition through the geography of emotions, and we are going to talk about how to balance, if possible, awareness with instinct. And we'll be talking about challenges, achievements, learning, and moving towards our dreams. So, the cover page of this day 3 is a picture of our geographer of emotions, Ilaria Borgioli. I won't promise that you will become like her after this experience, but this is a picture of her doing something that is exactly a balance between awareness and instinct. Her course is called between awareness and abandonment. So basically, to reach this kind of position in the air, she told me, because I never did it, that it's really important from a side to be aware of what you are doing, but not be stick to that. You need to leave yourself go, otherwise you won't reach this kind of results. So basically, this is the core issue of today, how to find a balance between instinct and awareness. And just to have a smooth start, I would like to show you the video of the acrobatic dance of Ilaria in Garfagnana. Okay, so this was the first proposal of the day, and we now have to give a prize, an award, how you say, to the best emotional pictures. You know, yesterday as homework, we asked you to send us, if you have time, some emotional pictures, and the winner will get a very nice PDF planner. This one, that is an inspiration and planning, wrote by Ali and Vittoria Molli. And the winner is Lucia La Monarca. Now, she sent us 4 pictures. This one is called Sadness. And thank you, Lucia, because this has been taken as far as I remember. At least we have two trees very similar to these two in Anzio. So
yes, I took this picture during our meeting in Anzio.
I gave you the possibility of saying no, that is not Anzio, and you underlined that it's Anzio. You confirmed
No,
it. Okay.
no, it's Anzio.
Thank you for matching Anzio with Sadness. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is Happiness, and of course, for those who know Lucia, they know that happiness is connected to table setting, and frankly, this is something that inspires to everybody. I think happiness, this very nice table. Then this is about the concept that we've been talking yesterday. We've been introducing yesterday, the saudade or saudade, and it's quite intriguing. And then the last one, I think that you deserve the award because the title of this one is really top. I really want to thank you for telling us that this is a butterfly, because it's really, I really think that's quite original.
This was my favorite animal, so I just explained to you.
So thank you, Lucia, and you will be receiving a PDF of this inspirational planning, which actually is very, very, very interesting. And usually this goes to attendees of the course of on Business Foundation of Ali. So you will find it extremely interesting. Okay, so thank you, Lucia, and the other participants. And let's go now let's go toward the center of today's issue. That is how we can use what we discovered yesterday and the day before about eliciting and mapping emotions. So today is about managing emotions, even if this word is not exactly the right one to use and match it with emotion, but let's call it like that. So I give the floor to Ali to better understand how we can use what we have learned from mapping. Please, Ali.
Thank you, Marco. That video was great, by the way. I've not actually seen that before. That was lovely. Oh, to dream to have a figure like that. Anyway, I digress. Talking about mapping. Mapping and doing the drawing in itself is one thing. What you get out of the mapping is the key to it all. And there are really quite technical ways of analysing the maps that we draw, and we cover that in the Map Out Your Emotions course and various other courses that we do. But this is what I found when I did my map without any kind of training on understanding how to analyse it. This is just what came out of it for me. So this was the first life map that I drew, the very first map. My vocational picture, I drew myself as a child in the middle. And then I started out with my river of family, and I thought about what I wanted to be, who I wanted to be when I was a child. And I started with the stadium of optimism, which meant that it just reminded me that when I was a child, I was very optimistic about the future and looking forward to life and living life. And I'd forgotten that. And that came back to me, and I remembered it. And I remembered looking back, and it kind of all came round. If you look at my map, you can see that when I get to the island of creativity, I'm almost back to myself as a child again. And I realized that this was my vocation, to share, to teach, to learn, to communicate, to help other people improve their lives. And I had wanted that since I was a child, and the map reminded me of all of that. Also, I was able to recall where I'd struggled, but more than recalling where I'd struggled. So I called that the mountain. I can't even remember what I called it, and I can't see it from where I'm sitting. But they're mountains anyway. And any struggle for me tends to be a mountain that I put in there, because I would say walking up a mountain is probably the hardest thing that I would ever have to do. But the thing is, what I realized was all the challenges in my life, I've overcome them. There's nothing that's unresolved. Every challenge I've ever had, I have managed to overcome one way or another. And that gave me so much confidence in myself and made me feel so much stronger. It was an absolute revelation to me. And this time last year, I was really struggling. You know, lockdown had just started. I was off work because I had real problems with my shoulders. I was about to be put on furlough, and then ultimately it came to the point where I was given the opportunity to take redundancy before I was made redundant. And having done my map at that point, I kind of had the strength to do it, to think, yes, I can overcome challenges. I can strike out on my own. I can go for my dream. And I came to the point of decision, which again in my mind is like a lighthouse. And I just knew that I had the strength and conviction to change direction. And when I look at my map, I can see that. And that anything is possible if I believe it to be. I'd called it the sea of possibilities. And you know, when you create your first map, especially when you do it in the half hour, 40 minutes that we give you when you first have a mapping session, you tend to just create these marks on your map. And it's only when you go back and look at it that you realize the depth and meaning, and you realize what it's pulled out of your soul. And I realized that I put the sea of possibilities because, yes, I do believe that anything is possible. Anything is possible. And that's kind of the point I'm at now, with believing that in my future, I can make my dreams come true. And I understand it again through mapping what I wanted for my future. I wanted to be in a state of harmony. Harmony as in peace in my life. So not feeling the stress from the work situation I was in before, being able to spend more time with my family and friends. That was what I wanted for my future. And I wanted to do work that wasn't really work, because it was my vocation and what I wanted to do and give to the world. And so I traveled on through the river of growth. Yes, I had a bit of an outlet of procrastination, because I do struggle with procrastination. I'm working on it, but at least I've been able to identify that, yeah, that is one of the main things that I struggle with. Then there was the Bridge of Enlightenment, when I realized again that things were starting to go right. It was all coming together. And then there's the Island of Creativity, where I started thinking about the courses I wanted to develop, the books I wanted to write. And I've written, I think, 7 books now in the last 6 months. So, you know, I've been pretty creative in that time. And then I've got in my future, the river of success that I'm hopefully traveling along now. There's a stream of books, because that's one part of what I do. My stream of courses, because that's another thing that I do. And then there's the stream of coaching, and they're all the things that I love. And it really clarified for me what I wanted my business to be, what I wanted to do. And also it made me think about the value that I can add to others. So I've identified that I am on the right path for me. I'm doing what I've always wanted to do all my life. I've realized that I'm stronger than I thought I was. I've been able to identify where I'm not so strong and what I have to work on. I've begun to really believe in myself like I never did before. And I'm very clear about what I want my future to be. And I got that just from mapping, without any kind of instruction on how to analyze it. Your self-analysis of your map that you do is absolutely the right analysis, however you do it. However you do it. So that's a little insight into me and my map, and how I have achieved that kind of balance of instinct and an awareness in my life, literally from one drawing that I did in half an hour.
Thank you very much, Ali. And I will do something similar. I told you yesterday about my itinerary. Today, since we are talking about how to use the map in terms of better getting along with our emotions, I'll give you some elements similar to those given by Ali. As you know, we are not teaching anything to anybody. We are just sharing our experiences. So I'm sorry if I tell you about, again, my personal experience, but it's just to share what I felt and what kind of effects has done to me this emotional mapping. So, because I think that we can call this a sort of remembering the future. It helps us to remember the future. You remember we spoke about the river of life that is different from the river of the myth of her. That is, in that river, when you dive there, you forget everything. Here, with all things that we are doing, I think we are not only remembering our past, but somehow remembering our future in terms that this self-assessment or self-analysis, as Ali said, is extremely important to have it clear what we want to do about our future. So here, let's say again, going back to the principle of the emotional mapping, that is creating imaginary places, and once you have created them, not physically, but almost physically, go there and try to understand the meaning, the deep meaning of why you have created, for example, the philosophy peak, the bridge of awareness, the genius logic plane, and so on. So I just give you, this helped me a lot to let me understand what I wanted to do in my life, what were my targets. And so I just show you something that has been written by Adriano Di Fraia about his interpretation of my map, my writing, and my picture, basically about my book. So. So as you can see, it helped me really to understand what I wanted in my life, and to discover my dragons, my enemies, things I want to struggle against, like indifference, like not trusting people, and so on. So in the book, I matched all these places with images and texts. But
I'll just say, what's also worth noting there is,
yeah,
your map it doesn't just have to be for you. It is not just a learning tool for you, it's a communication tool.
Yeah.
Marco's shared his map, and other people have looked at it and come out with commentary like you've just seen, that enables other people to understand Marco better by seeing his life's journey. So you can also use your map to communicate with others, which in some therapy sessions, in relationships, I've heard of people who have done maps in relationships to help to clarify to each other how they're feeling. So it's a lot more to it than just it being about you. It doesn't have to just be insular.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. just the single map is an invitation to a journey, all kind of maps, emotional maps, even more than that. So we could maybe just give our map without saying anything to anybody, and these people will be attracted by what we have drawn. So because this is one of the many powers of mapping, of course, the communication one. So going back to the how I matched the physical places with the philosophical meaning. Here I call this bridge of awareness, because from a bridge you can see your river, and you can make some reasoning about the direction of the river, the color of the water, a lot of things. It's basically awareness, getting aware of things. But I was too close to the water, so I decided to go on the peak of philosophy, from where you have the right distance from things. And there I made a lot of reasonings, and it's there on the philosophy peak that I wrote down, let's say, my life philosophy. In this sentence, there is my life, how I feel, how I felt five years ago when I drew the philosophy peak. I felt like really, as you can read it there, I was this was how I felt in that moment. You might think that this was the effect of a grappa that I was drinking with a friend on that meteor in Greece, maybe partially, but also this was the effect of drawing the philosophy peak. Then, for example, the faults of bounds. I think I find it natural that such a beauty and wild horse is obliged to be in that fence. So I wish that one day we won't have any bounds, any boundary in the world in terms of no discrimination of any kinds. So this is the meaning that I gave to the faults of bounds. Utopia, there are a few pictures about utopia in the book, but this one is just an example. Utopia, why? These are two pictures overlapped. The first one is about Rome, the Isola Tiberina, and you can see the cupola of a synagogue, so Jewish religion, living together with a Catholic church. And then I overlapped this Muslim family from Maldives Islands, because to me, a utopic city is a city where all kind of religions can be together, can live together. So you see, you can give so many meanings to the places that you create on your map. It's a live map. You will see, once you have drawn your map, you will go on it again every day, and you will find new things. Genius loci, somewhereness. We need to respect people, the places. Sometimes human beings think that they can dominate nature. I don't think so. I think that a human being should feel like this boy here, very little, and just respect and observe, speechless, the beauty of nature and the power of nature. So you give a lot of meaning. And now just a short video with the full version of how I told the chapter of philosophy in the book. Well, and then there is the last part of the journey, but I don't tell you too many things, otherwise you will never read the book. So the last chapter is freedom, and there are again four places: lighthouse of wisdom, the timeless sunrise promontory, and the island of perspectives. Just let me spend a few words about this because it's totally connected with the day, that is balancing instinct with awareness. Doing this reverse kick, this child is putting together his instinct and his awareness of being capable of doing it. So, and at the same time, it has a different perspective, because when you play football, normally you watch the field. Now, doing this kick, you watch the sky. So the importance of changing perspective. This is, at least, of course, in my own vision of reality, really the key to get to this balance between awareness and instinct. To change perspective, respect others' perspectives, find always for new perspectives on things, on people, on situations. So basically, this is the island of perspectives meaning, and then there is the sea of freedom to which you can get after a long walk, hopefully. So we are talking, by the way, about skills, you know, this today and every time, because to reach this balance, if we want to reach this balance, we need to develop some skills or to empower some skills and so on. So now let's talk in this second part of today's meeting about skills. Our idea is putting our friends, people that want to join ME, on a flying carpets. And Ali, you want to say what happens once you are on these flying carpets?
Well, once you are on the flying carpet, you can see everything from your new perspective. And I'd just like to quickly say, Marco, you've managed to get football into our presentation every day for 3 days in a row. I don't know how you've done it, but you keep slipping it in there. Right, yes, you can see skills from everywhere. So again, when you're looking for courses and support from the services that we offer in MA, then we can define it by the skills that you want to grow. And you can see from your magic carpet all the different kind of skill areas that we are looking at helping you to improve, from communication, leadership, management, influencing, interpersonal skills, personal skills, creativity skills, professional skills. But we've done it in a kind of it's a journey again. It's everything is a journey, everything is a map. And we have created very recently a new way of mapping, which is mapping your skills rather than just mapping your life or your river or your business or your relationship. This is about mapping your skills and thinking about what you do well, and also thinking about what you do not so well, in order to identify where you can improve and become better in your life. So we found 64 skills, 8 skills areas, 64 skills altogether. 64 runs very much through our philosophy. It's the number of infinity, is that right?
Absolutely.
And it's also the year we were born, so we quite like that year. It's a pretty good year. So what we do with the skills mapping It's very similar to the other mapping that we do, where on one side, you remember we have the emotions on one wheel and the geographic phenomena on the other wheel. This time, we're going to be mapping our skills along the way. Skills from the right-hand side wheel, merging those with a geographical feature to tell an emotional story almost about your skills at certain parts in your life, what you've learned, what you're good at, what you need to learn, what you found that you were good at when you didn't expect you were. When you're planning out your future, about thinking about what skills you're going to need in order to achieve the future that you want. So that's what the skills mapping is all about. And as I say, we split that down into kind of 8 different areas so that when you're on your magic carpet and you're skimming over the website, you can pick out which skills area that you want to improve in, and you can find the services that we offer that will help you to do that. So that's the skills stuff.
Yes, thank you very much. And then we applied these mapping skills to Emme, because as you might have understood, we have a lot of services we want to offer and to deliver. And we are finding ways of presenting them in a clear and a proper way and so on. And lately we understood that presenting our services in terms of skills that we presumably help to enhance, to empower, to improve, it could be an interesting way. So we asked a group of our emotional geographers to draw each of them drew a map about what Emme, the main skills that according to their vision Emme is delivering. So each of us has created a story with places that are strictly connected with skills, and skills are strictly connected with Emme. So there is a Ailsa map, there is a Aisha map, and so on. As you have seen, this is a very nice and easy way to express something. Again, it's a particular kind of mapping. We are now expressing skills. Here, each one then gave a description of their architecture, because it is very interesting actually to listen to the description of
the way that we did it was we asked everybody to talk about their map as if they were on their flying carpet going over their map, and the stories that people came out with when we're going to have to release that video, because it was the greatest hour of entertainment I think I've ever had in my life. It was absolutely hilarious, it was emotional, it was heartfelt, it was brilliant. So we'll find that and make that available for people to watch if you want to, because it was superb.
Absolutely available, because yeah, many things came out, and it has been a very useful exercise for ourselves as well to better understand how we perceive that are the core issues, the core skills that we are helping to develop. So this is just a short video about the whole idea Ali and I told you about.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You visit me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me win. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You show me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You show me how to spread my wings. Am I awake or am I dreaming? So far gone, I won't look back. And when I move.
So you just have to jump on the flying carpet and trust us. But now let's make a little challenge right here, right now. And then, of course, you will have time to better do it later if you so wish. So would you like to introduce our challenge, Ali? Or I do that, I mean, as you like.
I'm on mute. I was on mute. No, happy to. Okay, thinking about everything that we've said and watching the wheel in front of you, have a just a little think to yourself right at this moment in time. You haven't mapped or anything else, but what skills would you like to improve? Are there any on this map? Choose up to 3 on this wheel and share them in the chat with us. If you want to share, you don't have to share at all. Think about what you want to improve in your life and think about why. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes just to do that. The skills that I'd like to improve, and again, I had this conversation with Marco earlier. A year ago, it would have been completely different to what I want to improve now, because my whole mindset, my life, my way of living has completely changed. But I think if I'm going around this now and I'm having a look at everything, I think although I give courses on writing, and although I've written a book for children, a storybook, I would really like to improve my storytelling skills, to know how to do things in a much better, much more structured way. I'm sure Marco won't mind me telling you that there's going to be a movie made of the book of The River of Life, which is extremely, extremely exciting. That's probably going to get made next year, fingers crossed. So of course I've been helping out with the script on that, and I've learned a lot more about writing a structured story. So that's one skill that I would like to improve. What else would I like? Oh, managing remote teams. Basically, there should be on there, managing Marco should be one of the things on there. Need to get better at that for sure, because he's a bit of a wild card. Yeah, and maybe getting better at dealing with that procrastination that I've got, and learning to be a little more focused in what I do would be good. So what have we got? Oh, we've got some sharing. Let's have a look what everyone else is saying. So Ivy, communication, fabulous. Lucia, self-confidence. Well, you don't need, crikey, your creativity is superb. Honestly, ladies and gents, she has just redecorated her home, and the pictures, that stunning, absolutely stunning. So you should be confident with that. Aisha, emotion management, selling, critical thinking. Yeah. Yoga, communication management, self-awareness. Isn't it funny how we see people differently? Because what I know all of you, and the things that you're saying, I would say I can't believe you have trouble with that, but you obviously do feel that you do. Marco, adaptability, taking criticism.
Why you laugh?
Yeah, well, yeah, let's not go there. Marco Barozzi, emotional intelligence, artistic sense, critical thinking. Malak, is that how we pronounce that? I hope I've got that right. Storytelling, public speaking, stress management, communication. See, you've chosen 4 there, but that's fine, because there's no rules here. You can do 4. So yeah, storytelling, public speaking, stress management, communication. Obviously, it sounds to me straight away. Oh, Malika, brilliant. Thank you, Malika. It sounds to me like you want to put yourself out there more, by from what I'm hearing from that. So we all have, the message here is, no matter how well we think we're doing, no matter how good we think we're doing at things, there's always something that we think that we can do better and improve. And that's where the skills mapping really comes in. It not only helps us to identify where we could do with some improvement, it also helps us to start thinking about how we can get that help, we can do what we need to do in order to make those changes. Back to you, Marco.
Absolutely. So that was a nice challenge.
Thank you for sharing, everybody. By the way, thank you very much.
Sure. And now again, Ali will make a fantastic sum up of what we've been doing so far, aren't you?
I will indeed. Yeah. So if you think about it, if you can do the next slide, thank you. Yeah. For the last 3 days now, so 3 hours, most of us have spent together. Some of you are new today. Malika, welcome. We began our journey on day 1 with getting in touch with our core selves. That is thinking about who we really are inside, who we want to be, what our true vocation is. So the thing, I mean, you can never answer the question, why am I here? What is my life for? But you can know what you want to do with your life by looking into yourself. And we did that on day 1. Having done that, we were able to look at the rest of the world with new eyes as a person with a better understanding of ourselves. And we could look at things in a different way. So now when we're looking at things, we may be looking at it and thinking, what emotion do I feel about that? Maybe we're thinking, I want to capture that in a picture because it speaks to me. We're looking at pictures and feeling emotion in pictures that maybe we didn't feel before, particularly when we look back at our vocational pictures. And we've learned about how we can learn about our emotions and elicit our emotions through those pictures and songs and our connections with places. We've learned that life is a river, one that ebbs and flows, that changes direction, often flows alongside the rivers of others. Hopefully, we're always flowing along the river of somebody else so that we're not alone. Sometimes we diverge our rivers away from people. Maybe they come back and meet again. Sometimes other people's rivers crisscross over our river. And as well as having the river of our life, there's the river of our profession, there's the river of our relationships, there's the river of our business. There's lots of different rivers, but the one main river of life is the journey that we're all on. And as we're on that journey along our river, we learn and we change and we develop. It is an ongoing process forever. That mapping really helps us to understand, helps us to see where we've been, helps us to understand where we are now, and helps us to plan our life along the rest of our river in a way that we keep true to our vocation, our values, and our dreams. That's what tomorrow should bring, is what you hope it will bring. You need to know what you hope for before you can make it real. So we also know now that we can identify our strengths and weaknesses and our achievements and lessons learned from the mapping as well. And that helps us to identify the tools that we need to navigate beyond today, just simply by drawing a map along the journey of our river. And that's what we've learned in the 3 days so far on this course. If anybody at this point has anything they want to say about it, just unmute yourself and join in the conversation and tell us what you think.
Just let me tell you, after we did the exercise in the writer's course, I have drawn again the map. Right. Yeah, well, the map initially that I initially drawn was absolutely crap. So, so you know, but you know, some other interesting things came out after remapping it, you know. So that's up. I will send it to you one of these days.
One of these, I want to see it now. You have to send it to me for sure. So yeah, I mean, you've done that mapping a couple of times now.
Yeah, remember it was talking about professional, our business, you know, and all the, you know, our business life. I mean, the, you know, the obstacles and everything that happened. And since, you know, the beginning, I mean, through the end, almost, I mean, till now, obviously. And I think, as you said, I mean, it's a great exercise. It's something, I mean, when you map it, and I haven't done it, I mean, about my also personal life, but I'm sure there will be some very interesting things, I mean, coming out, you know, from mapping that. So absolutely, I definitely agree with you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Marco. That's brilliant. Does anyone else have anything else they want to say?
I think that the added value of this 4 days journey is the way you explain the map. Because one of the points I always discuss with Marco was the end of the journey. I mean, at the end of this journey, which kind of meaning you can give, Marco can give. I think that people joining this experience need to be guided, to be conducted, to be also, you need to explain which is the meaning of their map. Otherwise, it's very difficult to understand. So following your example and Marco example, it's a practical way to help people to understand where they can, what they can understand better about themselves through a map. Otherwise, it's very difficult to explain. So I think that you made a great job to, in a certain way, to close the gap between a map and the meaning of a map from a personal point of view. So you're, it's an added value. I think that this is this 4 days journey is the best I ever seen since the beginning, because it contains all the elements of the project in a very understandable way, very clear, very light, with deep results, because it's really true a journey within ourselves. So it's a beautiful format and a lot of work, I understand, to pick up the most important things of this very difficult path.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Lucia. That's lovely. That's made all the work worthwhile, for sure. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would add, before, I think I knew how to express what my emotions were verbally, and with this journey, you've separated out different ways to map. And so for me, the next step would be then, if I wanted to draw one of these maps, whether it's to do with business or myself or being on the magic carpet, to know if there's an opportunity or a window that exists to connect doing it with the people in MA, either as with this group or you, because we can do it individually, but it's also quite nice to be guided. And I think that's the point, that if you have someone to guide you, there must be a platform or a space in which to do it. So I think for me, that's the part that would be a nice connection between this 4-day journey and that, because then I would have something for myself as a product or on paper versus verbally being able to express my emotions. And the other thing I would like to say is you made a really interesting point, Ali, which was the rivers of life, with what we've seen on this journey, are about us, but actually we're following our lives along other people's rivers of life, depending on where we are in our life, whether it's with our private life or work life, where we rarely have it alone. So you have the blessing in the way, on the one hand, you can do this whole journey based on what you experience emotionally, because you may not want to share that with anyone else, and only you know it. No one else can tell you what to do. It comes from you, from within. And these wheels are a really good way of mapping the elements and the emotions together. But to know that you can actually sit with your family or whoever it is you want, even friends, and map all your journeys separately, but they somehow are together. That's like a connecting a big long carpet, or call it what you will. But this that didn't occur to me. I didn't realize that until you said it. So that's been a big eye opener, and it makes me feel like there's even more to this MA journey than I originally realized. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
If I can add something, I was wondering if this kind of format can be more focused on a personal growth more than on business or something like this, because I mean, probably it's more, it's easier to promote this kind of journey for personal growth in the first step, because also for social communication and so on, all this kind of program and courses for personal growth have a different success on the social communication. So probably we could try to promote it on a first step on a personal level. And then probably a second step could be working on the other different services that MA is offering. This is just I don't know if you agree, but just to think about how to get results from all this work in shorter time. I don't know what is your feeling or the opinion of other people, because I personally worked with Marco on a business side, as you know, and it works obviously. But I think that with this shape, with this new shape, probably is more important to work on a personal, on private. On people more than business first. It's only a consideration I wanted to share with you.
Thank you very much. I can answer, and that's a very interesting consideration. And by the way, what we are proposing, as you know, there are 2 river games that we consider as a preliminary river games in order to allow people to enter in the mood, in the philosophy of M. And these 2 river games are pack your luggage, in which you have to find your vocational picture and all the things connected to your identity. And the second one is map out your emotions. That is a 4 hours game. And during this game, we will start with an introduction to emotional cartography from the personal point of view, because the first emotional map was extremely personal with a lot of other meanings. But the map of Tender of Madame de Scudéry was basically a personal emotional map. And we will go through the story of emotional mapping. We will draw live our river of life, meaning by that the most personal map that you can draw, the river of your life. Then we will go through it. People will present their map, and then we will read. We have some tips on how to read and to give meaning, sense to the map. And so this is a very important course. And by the way, it will be on the 7th of April, the 4 hours from 4 to 8 o'clock in the afternoon time. And that's really advisable for all, even for those who are emotional geographers who did maybe technical or applications like business application or sport application or others, but not the river of life. Some of you haven't done it. So I really advise to join this course or game on the 7th, because that's very important. Yeah, for sure, what you say it's true. At least this is what happened to me. The very first effect on me was absolutely personal. When I wrote the book, I didn't think at all about sharing it, and I never thought that it could become what it has become, a real project with many people involved, with enthusiasm. At the beginning, it was just something very, 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 very personal. And so, yeah, we go on like that. The first map should be the river of life.
I think as well what Lucia is trying to say is in this kind of format that we've done over the last 4 days, which has kind of been an explanation of how it all works, instead of being general about, you know, all the different applications. I think what you're saying is to use this kind of format to talk to people about personal development, and do it in a different way to talk to people, have a separate one for business development. Is that right? But it's this format that you found useful in order to really get across what it is that we do at MA and what it's about.
I mean, I think that this format is good for personal development. I probably one way could be to develop the same format for business development, maybe with some references more, let me say, commercial. I don't want to use this word, but in order to link the target of a company, how to reach the target for a company through a tool like this. Because in this way, I mean, there is a mix and match about personal development and you don't know what. In this way, it is clear, according to me, this is a personal development, and it's very clear. I wouldn't say this could be so clear for business because anyway, the result is probably the same because it's a tool that we want to teach, but probably the language or the something must be tailored on a business format. Exactly. This is my opinion, my personal opinion.
No, that's great. Thank you ever so much for that, Lucia. Anybody else want to say anything before we wrap today up and tell you what the homework is?
La maestra cattiva.
On to the homework.
Okay. Thank you for your comments.
Yes, thank you.
I highly appreciate it. And going towards the end of the day, you know, all services of ME are basically covering the 3 words of the acronym. So eliciting, mapping, and managing emotions. But something that is on in calendar for the month of April is really, I should say, focused on the managing emotions. And we have 3 courses and 2 journeys in calendar, apart the 2 river games we told you in the previous day. So the first, it will be a metaphysical journey to Patagonia. Metaphysical journey is a template, is a system we have created, and we already did 1 experience exactly in Patagonia. And I shouldn't say that because I was the mentor, but apparently the 18 people that came to that journey were quite happy about it. So we had a lot of fun. It was, I think, a great personal growth for everybody, a great team building, because you will be traveling with a companion. And we also, I can say, understood something more about Patagonia, because we are using some geographical tools like Google Maps, Google Earth, and so people could really have the feeling of being inside places. And so we are going to deliver another time this journey in April. I will tell later the dates of this. It's a 10 hours experience. After the Patagonia journey, we have this course with Ailsa Tulloch. She's a movie producer and a script writer from South Africa. We are carrying on this basically professional. It's for people who want to use professionally videos for their business. So it's called The Camera and You. And this is also quite interesting in terms of managing emotions, because, by the way, maybe this is really focused on managing emotion, because each of us, we are not exactly comfortable when we know that we are in front of a camera. Thanks to this course, we will learn how to be in front of the camera, and this can be extremely useful for each of us in terms of business, but also on private life. Then we have another metaphysical journey. All these things are in English because there are things that are already also scheduled in other languages, but what I'm telling you is in English. So the Garfagnana journey, that actually is really, to me at least, the very, very first metaphysical journey, because the book that I wrote, The River of Life, is a journey in Garfagnana. In the world, yes, but in Garfagnana especially. So that was the very first metaphysical journey. And so I'm particularly happy to deliver this journey just after the Patagonia, that is the other area of the world that I love more. And I really hope that there will be attendees to discover this magnificent part of Tuscany that is not known as other parts of Tuscany, but it's extremely wild and of a stunning beauty. So I really wait all of you in this journey to Patagonia. And then we have courses delivered by Ali, which they are integrated as all the courses with a mapping session. And so this one in particular is the evolution, let's say, in English, by the way, of something that we did with schools in the previous years, with schools, because emotional geography, emotional cartography, it's good because it can be for children, for adults, for less young people like me and things like that. So it's for everybody. And the experience, but actually the experience we had with the schools were the most surprising, because, well, if you deal with children, you know how much they have to give to us. It's just a question of giving them the tools of expressing themselves. And if I show you the I don't know, 30, 50 maps we have drawn by children, they are, by the way, much better than mine, as you now understood, or Marcos, or everywhere. But it's not only an artistic issue. It's about helping children to understand, since they are so young, the meaning of emotions, how to recognize an emotion, and so on. So this is particularly important from the social point of view, this course delivered by Ali, because basically it is not directly for children. Of course, this is for teachers, for parents, for all people who deal professionally or in their private life with children. So strongly recommendable. We already delivered once this course, and also this one. I mean, Ali, you want to say something maybe about your courses? I'm saying that. But since you presented the mapping in such a beautiful way, like Lucia said, she said after that answer is said, she said that after 1 year she didn't understand anything about mapping until you reached this project.
Oh, I didn't say that.
I know. You see, I take everything personal. I wrote in the skills that I have to enhance. I said it. I know that that's one.
You have to work on your personal. How do you say criticism? No.
Yes,
absolutely.
Criticism, absolutely. Yeah, no, just those the schools children's course is my passion course, because I have such a strong belief that if you can get children to understand their emotions, and in doing so learn respect for others, and learn that differences are okay, then, and should be celebrated even, that helps them to give them a superb foundation through life. So I'm very passionate about that one. The business one is for small business owners and coaches, and it's literally how to build a solid and resilient foundation for your business. So it's all about the ins and out of the admin and the running of a business. So we all do, if we're in business, we're probably in it because we love what we do, but there's so many other things that you have to do. And this is about the stuff that you have to do. And there's mapping in there, both of your business journey and of your business future. And also looking at the resilience side and how to overcome challenges and struggles as you come up against them, as you inevitably will in your business. So, yeah.
Okay, so this is just everything in one page. So we will post this in the Facebook group, and we will send to you. But basically, there is one link that is a link to Eventbrite page of Emme, where you find all things that are on stage that are going on, so you can easily book whatever you like.
All the links for the courses are in the chat if you want to copy those out. There's also I do a writing skills course that's also on the 11th of April, so that's in there as well. And if you click on any of those, you'll be able to have a look at all the other stuff that's live as well. So that at the moment is how we're advertising and promoting our courses. That's where you go to book them.
All right. And finally, some homework. I give the floor to Ali again.
Homework. I'm doing a lot of work today, Marco. It's your business.
Yeah, you think so? I don't know.
So consider it.
The impression that I have been talking all the time.
Yeah, well, true. It's difficult to shut you up, to be fair. Okay, homework. Consider what you want to achieve. So this is thinking about your future now. You haven't necessarily done the mapping yet, but just for your homework, think about what you want to achieve and make a list of things that you need to get you there. And if you can find a way of expressing that with a photograph, with a picture, with a drawing, if you want to have a little go at mapping, just do a map of how you see your future. Then do that, share that in the Facebook group, email it to Marco or myself, tag us in anything that you post online so that we can pick it up and know you've done it. And again, we will be given a prize for that tomorrow. So that is the homework.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much, everybody. We've gone a bit over again because Marco talks so much. So we will see you all hopefully tomorrow for the last day of the expedition, when we will be returning to base camp and going over all sorts of things tomorrow that you need to know. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
You're always great.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Emilian. Bye.
Bye.